Good guys, welcome to lesson 3 of my course. Alright, last lesson we talked about break a structure, and now we're gonna get into some more advanced stuff. Liquidity sweeps. We're gonna be talking about liquidity sweeps. Now, alright, you might have heard this term thrown around like crazy, and you're probably sick of hearing it, but we're gonna be talking about it today. Alright, what is a liquidity sweep? There's multiple different ways of liquidity sweep. So first way is first lesson we talked about accumulation, right? Accumulation, and then which is ranging at a level, and then a liquidity sweep is when there's a lot of orders resting below or above. So if it's consolidating, there's a lot of orders resting below and above. Maybe someone stop, um a lot of stops resting below and above these levels, right? So liquidity, all these banks and hedge funds and big institutions, they need money to fill their big orders. It's not like you're like playing with little amounts of money, nothing compared to banks where they're playing billions and stuff. So they don't have enough liquidity to fill their orders. So they want to push the market um to a point where there's a lot of orders so they can get filled, right? So a liquidity sweep goes down, takes all these orders, takes all these stops, so they have enough liquidity to go up, and then it would have like an inversion fair value gap here maybe, and then it would just rip straight up. This doesn't happen that it's not that like easy to spot, but um that's how like it basically moves. It's not going to move exactly like that. So hold on, let me find something, right? This is a clear example of a liquidity sweep, right? Boom, we have a low right here. There's probably a lot of orders down here that the banks, they don't have enough money to get filled, right? Boom, they take all the stops. A lot of people probably have a lot of stops here. And take their stops, get filled, and then rip up. This is not like a good example, but we can go find a better example. Here's a better example, right? Boom, a lot of resting liquidity right here, because all the retail traders, they think it's reversing here. They think after a break, they think this is a break of structure, and then it's gonna rip up, right? No, 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 no. They have their stops right here. It goes up in their favor a little bit, and then just takes their stop to fill all the orders, all the big banks and institutions and hedge funds and stuff, their orders, and then it creates a V-shaped recovery, and then rips straight up, right? Ignore what I just said. You didn't hear anything. Let's find another example. Liquidity sweeps are pretty simple, right? Boom. There's another example. Liquidity sweep, rip. You can't tell me this doesn't work, man. Boom, right here. All these people think that this is a break of structure, and it's gonna go down, right? They're partly right, but boom, takes their stops, rips straight down, like 200 points. This is so easy to spot if you get. Okay, here's an example that I like, right? We have an accumulation of this range. Boom, liquidity sweep, a V-shaped recovery, inverse fair value gap that gets tapped into, respected, and then rips straight up. You probably don't know what that means if you're still kind of starting out, but we're gonna get into it in the next video, fair value gaps and stuff. So basically, boom, liquidity sweep, inverse fair value gap, tap into it, respects it, and then rips all the way up, right? This is so easy, bro. Okay, there's also something called an SMT that we're gonna get into. So an SMT, I'm gonna quickly explain it, right? SMT is basically like a correlated pair that's supposed to move together, um, moves differently. So we're trading NQs, so the correlated pair is ES, which is S&P 500. ES would take this low, but NQ didn't, right? So that would create something called an SMT that we're not going to get too far into it right now. So we're just going to keep it at that. Just like keep in mind that we're going to learn that in the future, right? All right, back to the topic. Sorry, I got distracted. All right, another clear textbook liquidity sweep, dude. Boom. We have a swing low liquidity sweep, rips up 5 million points, right? Oh, here's even a better liquidity sweep. Like, how obvious can it be, dude? Boom. We got relative equal lows. Well, actually, no, those aren't even relative equal lows. Cause, all right, we got a swing low, a liquidity sweep, a V-shaped recovery, and then, boom, rips up. Okay, so that's the video. Here's another example for y'all. Swing low, liquidity sweep, rips up. Right? It's that simple, dude. It's that simple. Alright. If you get the gist of it, I recommend you guys find some examples on the chart of liquidity sweeps. Get used to it, get good at it, and then proceed to the next lesson.